Welcome back, children. Now, let's come back to the chapter Deep Water. But before that, let's revise again about the author. William Douglas, born on 1898 and died on 1980, was born in Maine, Minnesota, which is in USA. After graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in English and Economics, he spent 2 years teaching high school in Yakima. However, he got tired of this and decided to pursue a legal career. He met Franklin D. Roosevelt at Yale and became an advisor and friend to the president. Douglas was a leading advocate of individual rights. He retired in 1975 with a term lasting 36 years and remains the longest serving justice in the history of the court. The following excerpt is taken from Of Men and Mountains by William O. Douglas. It reveals how, as a young boy, William Douglas nearly drowned in a swimming pool. In this essay, he talks about his fear of water and thereafter, however, he finally overcame it. Notice how the autobiographical part of the selection is used to support his discussion of fear. Before that, let's understand this words and these expressions. Treacherous means which can cheat. Subdued my pride. Subdued my pride means overcame the pride. Flailed at the surface means came up to the surface. Fishing for landlocked salmon. Salmon is a kind of fish. Than fishing for landlocked salmon. Landlocked means a water body covered from all sides by land. Misadventure. An adventure turned out to be wrong. Bob to the surface like a cork. As you open the cork of a bottle and it comes out of the bottle very quickly, in the same way it is used to describe the person who came out of the surface of the water from the bottom. Curtain of the life fell. Curtain of the life fell means death of the person. Back and forth across the pool means move forward and backward across the pool. Now let's start. It had happened when I was 10 or 11 years old. I had decided to learn to swim. There was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima that offered exactly the opportunity. The Yakima River was treacherous. Mother continually warned against it and kept fresh in my mind the details of each drowning in the river. But the YMCA pool was safe. It was only 2 or 3 feet deep at the shallow end, and while it was 9 feet deep at the other. The drop was gradual. Drop means the slope, as I discussed in the word meaning. Drop means slope. Slope from the shallow end to the deep end. So the drop was gradual means it was not steep drop. I got a pair of wings. Water wings means the swollen balloon like structures which the person wears on the arms, around the arms, to help him support in the water. So I got a pair of water wings and went to the pool. I hated to walk. Say this is the Yakima River, you can see. Some lakes are also there. You can see the water wings worn by this girl. So naked into it and show my skinny legs, but I subdued my pride and did it. So William O. Douglas recalls a misadventure of his childhood. It had happened when he was 10 or 11 years old. He had decided to learn to swim. There was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima, which was safe. It was only 2 or 3 feet deep at the shallow end and 9 feet deep at the other end. The drop was gradual, means the slope was gradual. It was not steep. He got a pair of water wings and went to the pool. He hated to walk naked into water and show his very thin legs. His mother also warned him that please take care and remember your drowning experiences. From the beginning, however, I had an aversion to the water when I was in it. This started when I was 3 or 4 years old and father took me to the beach in California. He and I stood together in the surf. I hung on to him, yet the waves knocked me down and swept over me. I was buried in water. My breath was gone. I was frightened. Father laughed, but there was terror in my heart at the overpowering force of the waves. The author had developed an aversion to the water. Aversion means fear, anger, or hatredness. Exactly, hatredness. When he was 3 or 4, his father took him to the beach in California. They stood together on the surf. Surf actually means the foam which arises in the ocean when the water waves strike the land or any hard surface. So the waves knocked him down and swept over him while he was with his father. He was buried under water. His breath was gone. He was frightened. His father laughed. But the overpowering force of the waves filled terror in the young author's heart. As I told you earlier, children, that the childhood experiences make a person strong or weak. So we must take care of the childhood experiences. They must be good, although it is not in our hand, but we must try to skip any misadventure, or you can say deadly adventure. My introduction to the YMCA swimming pool revived unpleasant memories and stirred childish fears. But in a little while, I gathered confidence. I paddled with my new water wings, watching the other boys and trying to learn by aping them. I did this 2 or 3 times on different days and was just beginning to feel at ease in the water when the misadventure happened. So, his unpleasant memories of his childhood revived when he went to the YMCA swimming pool. That is, introduction to the YMCA swimming pool. For the first time, childish fears were stirred. Means childhood fears came again into his brain. But soon he gathered confidence as he watched the other boys paddling on water with their water wings. He tried to learn by imitating them. Imitating means copying them. He did this 2 or 3 times on different days. He was just beginning to feel comfortable in the water when the misadventure happened. Misadventure means something wrong happened with him when he was trying to be comfortable in water and trying to learn swimming. I went to the pool when no one else was there. The place was quiet. The water was still. And the tiled bottom was as white and clean as a bathtub. Tiled bottom, you understand, children, that It was a swimming pool, and the base surface of the pool was covered with tiles, and it was as clean as a bathtub. I was timid. Timid means weak and shy. I was timid about going in alone, so I sat on the side of the pool to wait for others. I had not been there long when in came a big bruiser. Bruiser means bully boy of a boy, probably 18 years old. He had thick hair on his chest. He was a beautiful physical specimen with legs and arms that showed ripping muscles. He yelled, "Hi, Skinny, how would you like to be ducked?" So Douglas went to the pool when there was no one, because he was timid about his skinny or thin legs. Skinny means thin legs. So he sat down on the side of the pool to wait for the others. Shortly after some time, a big boy came. He looked like a boxer. He was probably 18 years old and had beautiful muscles on his legs and arms. He called the author Skinny, and he asked him, would he like to be ducked into water? Ducked means swim like a duck in the water, or to be plunged into water. With that, he picked me up and tossed me into the deep end. I landed in a sitting position, swallowed water, and went at once to the bottom. I was frightened, but not yet frightened out of my wits. On the way down, I planned, when my feet hit the bottom, I would make a big jump, come to the surface, lie flat on it, and paddle to the edge of the pool. So the boxer boy picked Douglas and threw him into the deep end, which was actually 9 feet deep. He struck water in a sitting position. He swallowed water and at once went to the bottom. He was frightened but did not lose his wits or intelligence. He made a plan. He would make a big jump when his feet hit the bottom. He would come to the surface like a cork of a bottle, lie flat on it, and then paddle to the edge of the pool. Means he would swim. It seemed a long way down. Those 9 feet were more like 90. And before I touched bottom, my lungs were ready to burst. But when my feet hit bottom, I summoned all my strength and made what I thought was a great spring upwards. I imagined I would bob to the surface like a cork. Instead, I came up slowly. I opened my eyes and saw nothing. But water that had a dirty yellow tinge to it. I grew panicky. I reached up as if to grab a rope, and my hands clutched only at water. I was suffocating. I tried to yell. Yell means shout. But no sound came out. Then my eyes and nose came out of the water, but not my mouth. I flailed at the surface of the water, swallowed, and choked. I tried to bring my legs up, but they hung as dead weights, paralyzed and rigid. A great force was pulling me under. I screamed, but only the water heard me. I had started on a long journey back to the bottom of the pool. So, children, those 9 feet appeared more than 90. Before he touched bottom, his lungs were ready to burst because of no air. When his feet hit the bottom, he made a great jump upwards, but he failed to reach the surface at once. He came up slowly. His eyes and nose came out of water, but not his mouth. He moved around his legs on the surface of water. He swallowed water and choked. Choked means his air passage got blocked. He tried to bring his legs up, but they hung down as dead weights. He again went down to the bottom of the pool. I struck at the water as I went down, expending my strength as one in a nightmare, flights, and irresistible force. I had lost all my breath. My lungs ached, my head throbbed. I was getting dizzy. But I remembered the strategy. I would spring from the bottom of the pool and come like a cork to the surface. I would lie flat on the water, strike out with my arms, and thrash with my legs. Then I would get to the edge of the pool and be safe. I went down, endlessly. I opened my eyes, nothing but water with a yellow glow, dark water that what one could see through. So only water colored yellow was visible. And then sheer, stark terror seized me. Terror that knows no understanding. Terror that knows no control. Terror that no one can understand who has not experienced it. I was shrieking underwater. I was paralyzed underwater, stiff, rigid with fear. Even the screams in my throat were frozen. Only my heart and the pounding in my head said I was still alive. And then, in the midst of the terror, came a touch of reason. I must remember to jump when I hit the bottom. At last, I felt the tiles under me. My toes reached out as if to grab them. I jumped with everything I had. But the jump made no difference. The water was still around me. I looked for ropes, ladders, water wings, nothing but water. So the author, when he came up to the surface, he tried to look for things for support like ropes, ladder, water wings, but nothing was there. A mass of yellow water held me. Stark terror took an even deeper hold on me. Like a great charge of electricity, I shook and trembled with fright. My arms wouldn't move. My legs wouldn't move. I tried to call for help, to call for mother. Nothing happened. So the author called for mother. So the author called for help, but no one came. So the author was shrieking underwater because terror had overcome him. He was paralyzed underwater, but his heart and the head were pounding. He told him that he was still alive. When he hit the bottom, he jumped with his full might or full power. The jump made no difference. The water was still around him. His arms and legs wouldn't move. He trembled with fear. He tried to call for help, to call for mother, but nothing happened. Then he rose up. His eyes and nose were almost out of water. He sucked for air and got water. He started going down a third time. Then all efforts ended, and he relaxed. A blackness or darkness swept over his brain and wiped out terror. There was no more panic. He felt drowsy and wanted to sleep. He gave up all attempts. He forgot everything. When he came to his senses, he found himself lying on his stomach beside the pool vomiting. The boy who had thrown him in said, "I was only fooling." Someone said that the kid had nearly died. Then they took him to the locker room. So children, that's all in this video. The last part will be continued in next video.